welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to Virginia, where I am always consistently and constantly perspiring. I love it when some people are like, I don't sweat, I glisten. And I'm over here just like, oh, I sweat. I be sweating bullets all up in here. You're gonna hear a fan, because if I didn't have that fan on, my soul would leave my body. I'm actually thinking about, like, hardcore thinking about investing in like a 1-room AC unit, because I just hot. It's hot. I sweat. We actually think I might be going through like pre-peri something menopause, or my body is just all kinds of effed up and it hates me. I mean, that's the case anyway. But today we're gonna attempt a get ready with me. I've just come to terms with the fact that I am going to be sweating, perspiring, glistening, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to be talking about my podcast, which hopefully I'll have this up, and then fairly shortly after that, I will actually have a rough draft of the podcast coming up. It's going to be a rough draft because I really just want to get it started. Let's start doing my makeup while I'm talking about this. I'm just going right on into it then, aren't we? It's actually kind of funny because after this, I'm not going to be filming another YouTube video, but you best believe I'm going to be filming some more pointless TikToks, because that is the form of social media that currently gives me joy. I mean, I'll be all like, I guess I have to put on makeup to film a YouTube video. But then I'll also be all like, well, I guess I'm gonna put myself all dressed up from head to toe so I can film some stupid TikTok content. That's the energy I've been having recently. Okay, so let's talk about the podcast. Like I said, I want to start it as soon as possible. It is going to be a rough start, not like, oh, it's going to be rough, but it's like a rough draft, because I just want to get the channel going. I don't have like a fully official name for it and everything like that, but I want to start putting shiz out on it. Y'all can come for me down below. I'm using the Jeffree Star Cremated palette. I mean, it's one of the best grayscale palettes that I own. It's formulated all kinds of nicey nice, so that's what I'm using today. And I think I'm gonna go with like my typical whatever, which is usually Eulogy, Gravedigger, and then Hearse. There is Fallout, but these shadows blend absolutely beautifully, so that's what I'm doing. I have decided what my first podcast, what the first video is going to be, and that is honestly going to be talking about my OnlyFans experiences. How the frig am I supposed to do this? Maybe using this mirror? Anyway, talking about my OnlyFans experiences and everything like that. That is definitely going to be an episode, like I said. I think that's what I'm going to start out with, because I think I'm going to start the podcast. But initially started the idea for this, and I was like, ooh, I could create really cool content with my best friend Morgan, which I still want to do, but I think just because she and I live, we don't live together, that would be amazing, but for like ease and being able to create content, I want to be able to do some content, on my own. So I'm just gonna start doing videos just kind of like by myself. I'm gonna do, like I said, OnlyFans. I also want to do some podcasts that have to do with, me being pagan and witchcraft and all of that sort of thing. So if you guys have any, I've been asking for ideas ever since this idea came to fruition. I was like, let me know ideas of things you would like to see. That offer still stands. Would love to know what y'all would like to see. I don't know if I've talked about this already before, but one thing that really inspired the podcast, I was looking at the timer, I was like, please tell me that's actually been going. There's very little worse feeling in the world than you're sitting here and you're talking and you're going off on your mouth and you're doing your makeup, and then you're like, it was paused. Actually just had to go in and fix this inner corner here. Still looks kind of jacked, but it was getting all kinds of not where I wanted it to go, so we'll just have to see. Maybe it's a good thing I'm not filming YouTube after this. But anyway, like I was saying, I don't know if I've told you all why I wanted the inspiration, the moment I was like, I should do a podcast. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun. I was actually toasted off my butt. I don't know if a lot of you know this about me, but I partake of the Delta 8, which is all sorts of legal THC, and I have a really good time with it. And one of the things I do to have a really good time is I'll do my thing, I'll be vaping, I'll have my gummy, I'll do whatever it is I'm doing for the evening. You know, it's sort of I try to only like do it on the weekends. It's basically my like pat on the back, you did good. But anyway, I'll be doing my shiz, just like whatever, and then I'll be watching something or doing something along those lines, and I will get this inspiration to just, it doesn't hit me all the time, but I'll be watching something. It started in Tennessee, and my parents and I were watching this TV show called The Chosen, which is about the life of Christ, which, quite honestly, if you're a Christian person looking for a good interpretation of the life of Christ, go watch it. And if you're someone just looking for a really well done TV show, go watch it. But it was one of the things I was watching with my parents, and I basically was like mass texting her, giving her this like absolutely under the influence play-by-play review of this TV show. And it wasn't done in any conventional like, oh, this is such a great show, look, it's Jesus. Like, I was doing just random, absolutely random, just if it came into my brain, it made it into a text to her. And I can't remember, I was obviously, you know, just sitting in my bed doing my thing, and the thought was like, Morgan, what, wouldn't it be hysterical if we started a podcast that involved taking those messages that I sent her and reading them, reenacting them, reacting to them? I mean, I thought it would be all kinds of funny. So that's going to be something I'm going to want to be doing with her. So before we start doing that, I did want to, you know, just create some content that wasn't that, because I know that I just want to kind of talk about things. I want to talk about lifestyle things. I want to talk about witchcraft things. I want to talk about pagan things. I want to talk about CBD and Delta 8 things. I just kind of want it to be not an info dump, but a podcast that kind of has a couple different themes going with it. And I know that can sometimes be a bad idea, because things, podcasts and channels that specifically do one thing tend to do better than ones that have different sort of subcategories of stuff that they do. So we'll just have to see when the channel does finally go live and I'm able to be like, hey, go and subscribe. I will definitely do that. Obviously, keep up with me on Snapchat. That's where I do a fair amount of, I don't know, communication. Some days I'm just, you know, depression hits and I'm off the face of the earth for like a couple days. But it is a place where I do like communicating with you all, even though I'm usually not the best at communicating. I apologize for all of y'all that send me messages and shiz like that. I do see them. I have, for whatever reason, communication anxiety. I don't like being on the phone, answering messages. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but for some reason, my stupid brain is immediately like, danger signal. It is scary and intimidating and causes anxiety, because I am just blessed that way. Absolutely not trying to discourage anyone from sending me messages. They oftentimes make my day, my week, my month, my entire existence, depending on what you send me. But definitely Snapchat is a good one for like information and stuff like that. My favorite one, this has absolutely nothing to do with the podcast or anything, but currently my favorite social media, my favorite form of content is freaking TikTok. I am absolutely obsessed. It is my favorite thing to do. I love making the videos. It's been an absolutely magnificent place for me to be able to just express myself. I haven't done anything too fancy or anything on there, you know, I'm just kind of winging it and doing my thing, and it's just been, like I said, it's just been a lot of fun. But when it comes up to the podcast, I'm honestly really hoping to have it up. I was saying that I wanted to have it up, I think I said like mid to late May, which is obviously not happening right now, so I'm hoping mid to late June, hopefully sooner. We'll have to see depending on when this goes up, because this is supposed to be sort of a get you ready for the podcast, get you to go subscribe to that shiz. And one question one of y'all had was if I was going to be showcasing any of the podcast content on this channel. I will. I'm going to be doing, like, if I do something beauty related or I do something that I think is relative to this channel, then obviously I'm going to have that on here. I want to say that the podcast is probably going to be less child friendly, just because of what it is and what it's going to be about and some of the subject material I'm going to be talking about. I'm really hoping for it to kind of just be a place where I can just sort of, I don't know if decompress is the right word, but just a place where I can chill and sort of talk about whatever I want without any fear of it being like, because like on here, I feel like when I post a lot of my non-beauty related content, it's like just gone, just algorithm says F you. Not that I want to be like all kinds of obsessed with views and everything like that, but I want something that allows me to have the freedom to talk about whatever I want without, you know, being concerned that it's going towards the wrong audience, if you know what I mean. I want all of you all who really enjoy my non-beauty related content to have a place that's like just for that. And then for those of y'all who are really here for said beauty related content, to just stay here on this channel and do your thing, because I like having different, you know, outlets of expression and stuff like that. I mean, y'all know your girl is all over the place, but we've also been doing some good things. We've been doing some, you know, self-exploration. That kind of stuff is going to be talked about on the podcast as well. And I'm going to be doing the podcast. I still have to learn how to do it like the way that podcasts are supposed to be done, which is like not on YouTube, because I basically know nothing about podcasting. I know that Teresa is Dead's husband has given me a lot of good information and tips. He's an absolute sweetheart and a blessing. And so I've got some information going on and some information that I don't have because I'm a dummy. But I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I also need to figure out, I left my microphone in Tennessee, which I need to call up my aunt and be like, hey, can you ship that shiz out to me please? I'm so sorry. Because like I said, I don't have I don't have experience like doing audio and things and shiz like that. So it's gonna be sort of a whole new environment for me. I'm very excited. I do think it's going to be nice and therapeutic for me. I've already got a whole bunch of lists of stuff I want to talk about, you know, and discuss and things. Like I said, I want it to just be a place where I can just talk about whatever strikes my fancy. I don't want to be like all over the place, but I do want to be able to have those things that I'm passionate about or that I've got opinions on that I can discuss in a non-beauty related environment, if that makes any sense. Because I found that I miss doing reviews. Financially, it's just not something I'm really able to do a significant amount of right now. I actually had kind of a, what was it, a half breakdown to my mom where I was like, doing reviews, you know, and stuff like that. But one thing that I really have found I really love, which will probably no surprise to people who are friggin' frequent watchers of me, because I love me some commentary. I love talking about stuff stuff and having opinions on things that people didn't ask my opinion on. I actually was thinking about doing a commentary channel, creating a commentary channel and titling it The Unwanted Opinion, because it was just gonna be me talking about shiz people didn't ask my opinion on, which I thought was kind of a clever idea. I want Morgan and I to be able to have kind of a joint channel name, so I don't know, kind of like that's shoddily blended on the edges, but it'll have to do for right now. But I kind of like bringing it like whoo, like that, kind of gives an exaggerated look. We're actually doing Smoky Peach today, so this is the ColourPop Baby Got Peach, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're just gonna use this one right here. I think it was one of the filters on Snapchat where I was like, ooh, I need to do a smoky look with like an emphasis on something peachy or orangey. And I really like doing a like all black gray look like this and then adding the pop of color on the lid. I've been really enjoying that recently. I should honestly try doing like cut creases. I've got a couple tutorials saved on TikTok that I need to like actually watch and go through and practice and see if it's something that I can achieve, because if there's anything that y'all know about your girl at this point is I am not exceptionally, I love makeup. I'm very, you know, passionate about it. I love using it as a part of my self-expression. But I am not what I would consider an advanced makeup artist. I do my makeup the way that I like it. I do it for me, but I'm not out here Nikki tutorials. I'm not out here like Butte Bean or Makeup by Anki, who are doing these like really fancy, intricate color fusion, cut crease, eyeliner, friggin' stuff. For whatever reason, I just can't seem to wrap my head around that kind of shiz, so we're slowly making some evolution in my techniques and such. On the podcast, I'm also going to be talking about gluten-free stuff and my experiences with like gluten-free food, what I recommend, what I don't like. We may do taste tests and stuff like that on there, because I basically just want to have a place to like share my experiences and like my information and stuff like that. If that makes any kind of sense. Probably not, because the majority of my existence doesn't make sense, but that's okay. I think we're doing relatively okay. I love how I don't base my makeup on like, does it look good for YouTube? Now I'm like, is this gonna look fire on TikTok? It's really become sort of this sad obsession. I'm gonna go do my eyeliner off camera and I'll be right back. I have had a couple people ask me, why do I do my eyeliner before I do the rest of my face? That's because my geriatric having hand, literally I have to have it like resting on my face, or I have my elbow resting against the mirror. I don't, freehanding my eyeliner is not something I have a talent for. I have to be like, oh, like this. Otherwise it'll end up turning absolutely awful, which it does 90% of the time, because eyeliner, like I said, I look at some people and they've got these crisp, sharp, crazy, intense lines, not just here, but people who do graphic liner and do all kinds of what I cannot do that shiz. I do not have the talent. So we're gonna create a podcast instead. But like I said, I want to talk about gluten-free stuff, because gluten-free stuff is the absolute shiz. Well, some of the gluten-free stuff that I've tried. For those of you who don't know, I am gluten intolerant. For a while there, I had a really bad rash that you can kind of see the like remnants of still here, but I had like these raised red, they weren't pustules, like they weren't filled with anything, but they were these clear, obvious, raised red marks all over, like here and down here and on my feet. And for those of you who are on the Snapchat, you were part of the Tennessee saga, where I went to like the urgent care place and they were like, oh, it's scabies? No, not scabies, maybe? Anyway, they thought it was one of those nasty bugs that lives by burrowing inside of you, and that was nasty. So it was treated for that, and then that didn't work, and then we went into an actual dermatologist, and the lady told me, it's kind of funny, humorous, the lady told me this like before my grandmother died, and I'd missed, for some reason, they'd made an appointment for me and I didn't get a call, but I'd missed a couple an appointment, and I called and I messaged and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm taking care of my grandmother. You know, we've got to be on call with her basically 24/7. So they knew about that situation. So we went into the dermatologist and this lady was like, oh yeah, it's this thing right here. And usually what causes it, we don't really know what causes it, but a good indicator is stress. And so this lady then goes on to this thing and is like, well, you really need to manage your stress. You need to do this and this and this and manage your stress. And then she looks at me and she's like, so how's your grandma doing? I'm just sat here like, well, she's dying. It's kind of just a little bit stressful. I mean, that was just all kinds of something. I'm just like, manage my stress. For 30 years, I've been trying to manage my stress. I remember so vividly, I took a child psychology course, and I can't remember, I think, was it Eric Erickson? Anyway, it was a very a very revolutionary child psychologist, whatever, in the field. And I remember so vividly reading in the book, and it was like, a sign of a well-rounded adult is managing their stress well. And I'm like, well, I'm effed, because I am notoriously bad at managing my stress. I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna let it consume me from the inside out, like I am constantly. I mean, part of the reason I do so much Delta 8 and CBD is because I'm in a constant state of anxiety. It's just one of those things about my ever so special personality that just, it's fun. It's fun. It makes life nice and spicy. So, you know, I want to talk about, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. I'm just really excited to just have a platform to just talk about whatever the frig I want. Not that I can't do that here, but I want sort of a designated platform, if you get what I mean. Like, I basically just want to get on here and be able to just, you know, shoot the shiz with y'all. So the first couple episodes you get are probably gonna be just me. I need to plan with Morgan to be like, hey, can we have like a recording day or what, because she's got a pretty intensive job that has her working a lot, and so matching up our schedules is kind of occasionally a bit of a difficult thing to do, but that stuff will be coming. I actually finally said goodbye to my Tarte Shape Tape. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Naturally Radiant Concealer. I don't know if they still make this. I got mine at Marshall's. But I really like this one, and this is the next one on my docket to go through, because if y'all know, you know that concealer is one of those things that I don't need to buy unless I like lost all of my concealer, like my collection, the drawers that my concealer are kept in were to spontaneously combust. I don't need any new concealer. I don't need any new powder. I don't need any new setting sprays. These are just things that I don't need to buy anymore because they take forever to use up. And for one person and one person's face, I got a lot of stuff. Y'all know this shiz going all up in here. I am going to be doing a declutter and makeup collection video soon, because I am back in Virginia where all my shiz is over there. I need to do a declutter because I have got a bin of stuff sitting right over there that does not fit in my drawers. And I have 4 of the IKEA Alex drawer knockoffs from Michaels, and it just doesn't fit. I've got blush, I've got highlighter, I've got eyeshadow palettes. I need to just take a moment and evaluate what I've got and what I want to fit into my actual collection. Alright, for blush, I had a couple different options. I wanted to kind of proc off of this, so I wanted to go really soft and ethereal and peachy, because y'all know that is my absolute shiz. What have we got here? 2 different blushes by Melt. I think I'm gonna go in with, ooh, Cali Dream right there. I think that'll be really pretty. Watch it look absolutely awful. Let's see here. This is the Melt Cosmetics. They're just their blushes, and they are, I don't know if you can see, there's a heck ton of kick up in there. They are heckin' pigmented. You need just the titchiest bit on there. You see that? Just an exceptionally small amount. I do enjoy these. I find that they are just a little titchy bit, I wouldn't say a struggle, but you do have to work with them to blend them out. It's not just going to be a put it on and you gotta finesse the product just a little bit, because Melt Cosmetics products just happen to have this habit of being overly, excessively heckin' pigmented. Y'all know this. Alright, we're looking pretty good here. One thing that I do when I think my blush is a little too intense, I'll take my beauty blender, not beauty blender because I despise beauty blender. This is my Wet n Wild sponge. But I'll take my beauty sponge and I'll just kind of dab to kind of make the blush a little bit more diffused, a little bit less in your face. And it works really well for toning things down, like I said, if I've got like too much going on. Next up, I'm gonna take this. It's a highlighter by Sydney Grace. This was sent to me by one of y'all, the same angel who sent me the Danny's Delight bundle. And this is the highlighter in Pumpkin Spice. It's too dark for me as a highlighter, so I'm gonna use it as like an illuminating blush topper, because y'all know if there's something I love, it is an illuminated blush. Ooh, oh, that's so pretty. Ooh, can you see? Probably not. So pretty. That just gives me a nice lifted, come on, oh, that's a lot of product. It just gives me really nice and pretty, very radiant looking cheekies. And for actual highlighter, I'm gonna break out an oldie but a goodie. This is the Anastasia Aurora Glow Kit. And we are gonna go into a mixture of Eclipse and Luna right here, or maybe, ooh, Lyra. Let's start off with Eclipse. Get me all kinds of highlighty up in here. How we doing? I always forget how absolutely gorgeous these are. I am going to start makeup rotations again. Ooh, that's all kinds of ethereal looking. Hello. Do a little right there. All nice and glowy and radiant like. Alright, here we have the final look. Not my best, not my worst, sort of like middle ground. Not doing lashes today because quite honestly I couldn't be bothered. I put lashes on last time I did my makeup, but a part of me was like, oh, how come I never stopped? And a part of me was like, I know why I stopped. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got at least some kind of information. Obviously, I always wait to see how it goes when I go to edit, because that's a much better idea, a much better way of being like, oh, okay, I guess that's how it flowed. I hope you guys are excited for the podcast, as excited as I am to give you guys cool episodes and information and such. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!